Hi guys, Squall here. Welcome to another episode of my realistic playthrough on Derail Valley, and we are up at the machine factory. I've had a little sleep to get us into morning. It's like 6:30 a.m. and the rain's finally stopped. It's still wet. I've driven the locomotives around to the service yard, so I think the first thing we're going to do is pop over there and get them all serviced. I doubt there'll be anything here that will take us up to the Iron Mine West, which is our original destination when we set out. If you remember, in the previous episode we was at Iron Mine East and Coal Mine East, and we drove over here and made some drops at the coal power plant, the machine factory. This is where we're trying to get to, Iron Mine West, because, well, you know, maybe the SO60 will be there. I don't think I saw it last time we went through, but we'll double check anyway, and then our next search would be the Sawmill. So let's pop over here, get things serviced, and then head up to the iron mine. Right, this is our long list of locomotives. D6, Slug, D6, DH4, D6. Also, there's another D6 here, and then, interestingly enough, we get on the roof, there's another D6 there, and yet another D6. So... do you know how tempted I am to just get all these D6s and just create a ridiculous locomotive train? I am going to do that at some point in this series, I think. I'm going to get something absolutely crazy put together and see what happens. Anyway, I am curious as to how much this is all going to cost. Let's work our way down the line here. Not much for this one, although a lot of oil, bit of sand, and plenty of... diesel? Which one was that? That was LO71. Oh, that's this one. That's the newer one. Okay. Then we go to LO87, which I can't remember which one that is. I think that was probably the DH4, to be honest. 05. One of these is going to be completely out of diesel. That's the Museum DA6, the front one, because that one totally ran out of diesel. That one nearly ran out of diesel as well. Blimey. This is going to be a 60 grand bill, I reckon. We're on 30 already. Compatible. That must be the Slug. And then that's got to be the front D6. Yeah. Okay, this isn't going to be quite as expensive, I thought. It's mostly oil and diesel. Yeah, look at that. I have never run one of these D6s completely dry like that. 53, I wasn't that far off, blimey. Okay, right, so... that's a 53 grand... we're down to 1.6 million, and we've got fully serviced locomotives. However, we still owe a lot of money for that little crash that we had, which is confirmed to be the bug. Wipers are squeaking. Turn them off. We're going to brake cut our front loco in now. I did have this one cut in. I think I was running this one. Let me just double check that. Yes, no, that one's cut. Okay. I'm confused as to which one oh, I've slept, of course. I've slept, so everything's changed. Ah, in that case, we probably have handbrakes galore. Yeah, I brought them over here, and I've since slept, so all bets are off, all brakes are cut out. Good job I spotted that, to be honest. That's cut as well, isn't it? Yep. Now, weirdly enough, it doesn't apply the handbrake on the Slug, it only does it on the locomotives. Which I do find a little bit odd. So we'll cut that in. We've got brake pressure, main reservoir, yep, all good. Okay, so what we'll do, I'm going to keep it pointing this way. This is pointing south currently, which is absolutely fine. We're currently here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically pull forward here, reverse back to the D yard, and then we'll carry on and head up to the iron mine and have a look around. Worst case scenario, we can get a job out of that, and it'll most definitely come down to the steel mill. And that'll take us a bit closer. We'll be here then. That'll take us down towards the sawmill, so we can then go that way and have a look for the SO60. Right, just before we leave, and I'm glad to say the sun is coming out, so hopefully some of that mist will burn off. let's go and clear our fees. I want to get rid of that debt that's hanging over us. Obviously, we've got a couple of fees to pay on these bits and pieces. That's expected. Same on that one. That's just environmental stuff. And then we've got the big one, which is 140k. Ouch-a-rooney. So now we're down to 1.5 million. So I think I was on 1.4 before I got all the penalties and stuff. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm just having a quick look around and see what our gadgets are. I've got the gaffer tape. I've got various switches. Oh, I've brought some flags with me. I'm going to do something which one of you guys in the comments posted. And I thought it sounded like a good idea. Let me see. I've got speedos and clocks. Lighting thermometer. I've got proximity sensors and the reader. And I've got battery chargers. That's what I was going to do. I was going to install a battery charger, wasn't I? Might bring that with me. I tell you what, no, well, let's not get distracted by that. Let's just head out. We've cleared our fees. We've got 1.5 million. Let's focus on the job at hand. I might actually ride from the back here and just use the remote. I think it'll be easier. Yeah, so you can see the water's nearly gone, so the track's almost dry. Why don't you want to move? Why does it feel like there's a brake on? What the heck? How strange. I just drove that over here. I never touched that brake, so I guess... What? That's really weird. I just drove us over here. I stopped with the brakes. I never put a handbrake on. This is getting spooky. And suddenly, all the handbrakes... What the... Is that another weird bug? 2 handbrakes just suddenly got deployed in the time it took me to walk over to the station. Okay, I cannot explain that. There's no point looking at the weather forecast right now, because the weather forecast is bugged. And also the connector problem that we've seen, that's currently a known bug. Currently being worked on with high priority, but... and obviously we've got the pause bug currently, so we don't pause the game while we're moving, otherwise bad things can happen. So yeah, those are little things we have to work around until the patch comes out. But it's a lovely sunny day, and I need to make sure that we are switching the right direction. So we're coming out of here, we're going into Iron Mine West. What we'll do is we'll come in, we're going to be coming in from here into the B yard, so it makes sense to just drive straight into that central track. We'll have a look around. We're obviously reversing in, so we'll have a look around, see if we can see the SO60, and then we'll find some jobs. Well, here we are approaching Iron Mine West. Up the climbing turn into the tunnel. It's a 40 limit all the way around here. There we go. Right, let's have a look around. I don't know exactly where the spawn points are. That's an SO, that's a 282. Let's get this pulled up here and have a look around. Might as well stop it. I don't know how long this search is going to take. There we go, let's kill that for now. Okay, so I would expect spawns to be perhaps over here. Sometimes they are hidden, sometimes they put them inside of, like underneath sheds and that kind of thing. But I'm going to have a good look round because I don't want to have to come here again. Sometimes if you see like scrap metal and stuff, that's where a spawn point can be. But I've heard the SO60's quite well hidden. So, I mean, that could be potentially a spawn point right there, couldn't it? Maybe under these sheds here. I'm going to check round the back, just in case. I don't think this is a spawn area, but let's leave no stone unturned. Let's have a look up here. What's that? That's, You see, that looks like a spawn point, doesn't it? Right there. That looks like a candidate for a spawn. Same with this, to be honest. That looks like a candidate for a spawn point as well. It doesn't look good, does it? It's not around the back of here. I almost got excited then and then realised that was a 282. I thought, oh, we found it. Don't think there's a spawn area in the quarry. It's definitely not there. Anything hidden around here? Nope. No! You're... That it? You're kidding me. Holy smoke. How did I miss that? I swear I've been here. Oh, we found it. We found it, guys. We found it. SO60, that's the one. That is definitely the one. This doesn't have a tender. It has a little tender built in the back. It's quite clever, this thing. Very compact shunter. I can't believe it. Okay. Alright. I must have come in here and just, yeah. I mean, to be honest, it is quite well snuck away though, isn't it? Now, I suppose we just put it on the back of here, can't we? Let's do that. I can't believe that. I was thinking it must be in the sawmill. Let's spin it round. Can we spin it round, please? No, I don't want to confirm. I want to turn it around. Re-rail. That way. Yay! The final locomotive. Let's get it hooked up. Get that on there. Right, where's the handbrake on this thing? There it is. Handbrake's there. The brake cut is gonna be here. That's cut out. Woo! I can't believe it. Brilliant. Alright. Okay then. We can get that back to base. We're gonna have to come back and get the parts, but, you know, we can actually get the unit back to base. What we can do now is have a look at the jobs that are available so that we can get paid. Steel mill, as expected, what's that one? Logistical haul to City West. It's doable. Doesn't pay enough to be faffed with though, does it? Harbour and Town, I mean, in theory you could take that. We're going to have to go that way anyway. But it could make life difficult for us. If we're here, we'll go to machine. We're bound to be able to pick up some jobs at the machine factory, to be honest. But then the problem is, when we arrive here, we've got jobs for the steel mill. If we then take additional jobs, we probably have to pick them up and then stick them on the train before this stuff. And also with the steel mill drops, what we probably want to do is, considering we need to now head back to City South, yeah, or we just do our usual trick. Pick up stuff at Orwell Central. We could do that. Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to go for the big guns. So we'll just take these two. I mean, that thing's 1,300 tons. This is 430. They're both going to the steel mill. However, at the steel mill, this one goes to A6I. And I cannot be bothered with going to A6I at the steel mill because, as we've seen before, it's a little siding here. It's fine if your destination is the steel mill, but if you're trying to do a drop and go, I'd rather just take that. So we'll grab hold of this. This is on B40. We'll grab hold of that. And we'll set off back towards the machine factory and see if we can get something else. Right, all hooked up. I was just doing some quick maths on that, and we've got 1,290 tons, 274 meters. Given the current set of locomotives, including the SO60, that's going to bring us up to 371 meters total length, and 1,917 tons of pure weight across the whole train. So I'm going to start up the second D6 to get this moved. Hand it in. Where is this going, by the way? B3I, okay. Right, so we've got the front D6 running. We'll get the second one running. That still gives us plenty of capacity to haul something else, should we need it. I think there'll be certainly stuff down at the oil refinery, if nothing else, or even at the farm. We often see nice stuff down at the farm. Yep, that's quite a lot of weight. Right, the convoy is rolling. Now, where do we want to go? We want to go into the machine factory and potentially set ourselves up to pick something up. There's often things in the B or the C yard. There's often trams in the B yard, so why don't we set ourselves to go through the B yard? We'll go for a straight through right, left. We'll go for a straight through into the B yard, and we'll pull up here, because the B yard is also fairly close to the station. I think there's often jobs there that are quite lucrative. If we don't find something lucrative... Oh, we need to check the military as well, actually. That's a good point. Now, if there is something in the military, I would have to pull forward and then reverse back in. That's doable. But we'd probably want to leave the steel stuff here, the iron ore here, and go and get the other job on the back of the train and then put that on the back. If there's nothing super lucrative, I'm going to leave it until we get down to the farm and the oil refinery and see if we can get a better job down there. The goal is to get back roughly to the harbour, and then we can quickly whip over with the steam to the museum. Well, that was a full power grind all the way up here. 2 D6s, full power, didn't go above 30. It was steady, but it was, yeah, the maths was bang on, basically. 2 was good enough. 1 wouldn't have been enough, and 3 would have been too much, so... Anyway, here we are. I'm assuming we've got all the switches set correctly. I should be able to jump over there to the station and see what's what. Can we see any... There are some trams. I see trams. Double check those points. Yes, they look good. Get the brakes on. Let's see where those trams are going. And then we'll have a quick look in the military as well. Let's see. 55k, 69k. Coal Mine East. Where are they going there? Those trams are going to the food factory, which is really annoying because that's nowhere near where we're going. So there's literally nothing here that I want. Those 2 on the right don't pay enough. Their food factory, wrong direction. Everything's... yeah. That makes me sad. Right, let's quickly see what the military has to offer. If anything. Wow. 1 shunting job to repair tanks for the military, which I can't be bothered to do. Okay. Well, that sucks. So, yeah, we'll just carry on. Oh, wow. Didn't realise they actually chucked out the cars here as well. That's kind of cool. Nothing for us here. Let's get that moving, and let's see, machine factory, so the switches are set correctly for a right turn, then a left turn, then a right turn towards Oil Central and Farm, and then what we'll do is we'll take a right turn and we'll come up here and reverse it back into A3I. Then after that, we're going to go left turn, left turn, left turn, right turn, because we did come through here in a previous episode, so that switch was incorrect. And then a left turn down towards the harbour. Okay, I'm happy with that. So the next thing we want to do is just double check City West to make sure it's going left through there. It is. And then Oil Well Central will be a right into B, right left through B, and then Farm will be a left turn into B, right left through B, and then the steel mill, we're going to be reversing into B from this direction, and we're going into B3I. So that's going to be right, 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 left. Right, 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 left into B3I. And then we'll sort out harbour nearer the time, because we don't know what else we're picking up yet. Right, so let's get a move on. And we'll get down to Oil Well Central down here and see what jobs they've got, and we'll see what the farm's got if there's nothing here. We're looking for good jobs. We've got an extra DE6. Let's double check what we've got on the back here. We're running 2 DE6s. We have a spare one and a DH4. And given that we're already at 2,000 tons, here's the interesting thing though. We're going to be hauling, and then we need to pull it up this slope so that we can reverse into the steel mill. That's going to be the challenge, because once we've dropped at the steel mill, we're going to drop 1,290 tons. So potentially we can then haul more to the harbour, but until then, we can't. So we need to be careful. We can take about another 1,000, 1,200 tons comfortably out of these two, and then we'll make that up the slope, and when we could drop at the steel mill, we could take another 1,200 tons of stuff out the steel mill down to the harbour. We'll see what the options are available. Right, we're approaching Oil Well Central. I swear there's bits of track round here that are overgrown, that never used to be overgrown. It's almost like the grass is growing round here. It's kind of weird. What I want to do is stop before those switches there, because if I need to take anything out of here, I'm going to want to disconnect the cars behind us and put these in front of them. So I need to stop before these switches. And the station is over on the right. Oops. Over here somewhere. There it is. Right, let's quickly see what they've got to offer. Refinery, harbors. 41k to the harbour there. City South is interesting because we're actually going to City South. Well, that's interesting. So we could either go out of our way to harbour and town with methane, or we can take a half job of methane to City South, where we're going anyway. So I guess what we could do is, let me just rearrange the stuff here, because I want to put that there. That's going to be on the back of our train. So I think what we'll do is, if we get this one closest to our train, and then this one second, then what that will mean is we can drop this one off. This one... No, done that wrong. Let me swap them over. We can drop this one off last, then this one, and finally... Well, first, second, third is how it's going to work. So I need to hook up to 4.0 and then 5.0. And then I think we'll just... How heavy are these? Okay, yeah, that'll be fine. And then we can see what we can get from the steel mill, see if there's any jobs out of the steel mill. So let's quickly disconnect from here. But we don't need all of this, do we? We actually only need from this bit. No, we need the remote as well. We need this bit. I want the DH4 for the remote capabilities, so we'll disconnect that. Break that. We'll send that forward. And I'll just put the handbrake on that, so when we reverse into it shortly, we don't have any issues. Okay, so first pickup is 5I. And we're at Oil Well Central. B. So 5O, not 5I. Which should be this lot, I think. Is that this one? 18. Yeah, that's the lot. This lot here. Just need to wait till that gets beyond those sidings there. We'll be coming in from this direction, so we're going to want to right there, left, left. We're just waiting for the train to pass that switch there. It's kind of hard to gauge, but that should be okay. Yeah, that's fine. So if I switch that one left, 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 right. We've got this right. We should be coming right here. Now, while we're waiting for that to come back... Okay, so the handbrake's on the front car. So here's another tip. While you're waiting for the train to come back, if that's not on like this one here, then if you're feeling brave, you can use your spare time to run to the back of the train and get the handbrake off on that one. I think I just punted them. Yeah. I just punted them. Look, the vehicle's on 81.6%. So yeah, I just misjudged that one completely. It was going a lot quicker. And also it didn't help that I actually misclicked and put a bit of throttle in when I was trying to brake. So, yeah, we've already damaged the cargo before we even take it. And this thing's still rolling. Look at this. Now, you could say to yourself, why don't you just drive off and not take the job? But that will appear as damage. Anyway, there'll be a fee on that now. And because it's hazardous material, it may not be a particularly low fee. So mistakes were made. Good. We learn by our mistakes. What did I learn? I learned that I misjudged it. Okay, right. Now, the next one is going to be from 4.0, and 4.0 is probably this one right next to us here. 16 it is. And you'll notice the brake car is off on that one. So same deal applies. Only this time, we'll need to get forward of that switch there. Have we got? Yeah, so we've got the big one here, and then 16 there. That's 18. Okay, I've messed this up, haven't I? I did have it the right way around, and now I've screwed it up and got it the wrong way around. I've actually got the big job for Harbour and Town is now on the back here. This is going horribly wrong. Because basically I need that one close to the train, which is that job there. And now I've got this the wrong way around. Okay. We've not started these two jobs yet, so the only one that's at the risk of being late is the steel mill job. It's not the end of the world. It's better to get these in the right order now, otherwise it'll become a bit of a pain later. So what I'll do is I'll just push these to here, and then we'll pull that out, hook that to there, and hook that to there. It's going well! Right, it's taking a bit of shuffling, but I think I'm finally getting there. So we've got the cars in the right order now. I'm trying not to slam this one into this one. disconnected. Handbrake off. Right, I've got all 3 D6 is running. I'm going to start moving that forward because I don't think we're going to get the bonus on this steel stuff now. We'll see. Let's get that handed in. Get that handed in. So the clock's ticking on those. I don't expect to get the bonus on the City South one anyway because we're going to go via the harbour. I do expect to get the bonus on the harbour, and it remains to be seen if we get the bonus on the steel mill, but total weight now is 2631 tons, and total length is 619, I think. So 620 meters. I didn't have a stopwatch, so I don't know how long has elapsed, but the iron ore job is 65 minutes, and I think we're already well into that. Okay, so that's going to go to the D yard down at the harbour, and that's going to go to B1I at the City South. They're both fine. Right, so the first job is to drop this into B3I, get paid, see if there's a job out of there to the harbour that we can take, and if there is, we'll take that as well. Now, I have to say that getting this lot up that slope there, around that turn, which is a harsh climbing turn, was not easy. I don't think the true weight that we have, 2,631 tons, I don't think that's the real picture, because I think that SO60, which is not in a repaired state, is actually adding a lot of extra friction. It certainly felt like more. It felt like we were really struggling. Okay, I'm going to jump off here. I need to get this thing slowed down. I need to stop it all here, get it disconnected. What we'll do is we'll get it disconnected. We'll pull forward the rest of the train, get it up that slope, and that way if there's anything I do want to take out of here, we're already in the right place. We'll just reverse back and connect to it. I'm not sure if we're going to get the bonus for this. We have taken a lot of time to get this delivered. I faffed around at the oil well quite a bit, and that's entirely down to me. That should do us. Oh, I do hope the back of the train's not gone beyond. Oh, that will be annoying if it has. I don't want to run down and check. I'll take a gamble. I'll take a gamble. If it has, I'm going to have to come back and reconnect this thing. Let's have a look. This is quite a long set of cars. Are you still within? Yes, you are. Okay, right. Let's move that forward. Let's just get that moving up that slope a little bit. And we'll get this handed in. And 49 minutes. Nice. So we got 90k out of that. That's great news. Right, what jobs have we got? We don't want that one. That's the shunting job. Harbour and Town, Harbour and Town. Let's turn that off a second. 900 tons out of 40. That seems to be the best paying one that goes to the harbour, and that's less than what we hauled, and I'm okay with that because we brought in 1,200. Well, we just dropped off 1,290 tons, and from a standing start, I don't want to be hauling anything like that weight because we're going to struggle up that hill. That was a real bind getting up there. Let's pull forward a little bit more. So with this one, we want to go to 40, which is steel mill B here. This is this track here, actually. So I can flick that in. We just need to get... So we can just stop, can't we? We're already heading the right way, I believe. So we just dropped into 3i. Perfect. That worked out quite nicely. I need to rework out what our current weight is now. And our length in particular, but... Where's the handbrake? Handbrake is off, so the handbrake's up there. Lovely. All right, so we just got paid 90k. That is definitely good money. What are we on now? 1.6 million, more or less. The trouble is the front of this train is going to be almost on that slope, so... Oh, I've overdone that. I've overcooked that. Got away with it. But now I'm going to have to reverse a little bit to meet these cars. Come on. There we go. That'll do. Okay. I'm sure those buffers can handle that. Aiming for less than 10k. 5k is perfect. Anything more than 10 and you start risking damage like what we've done on the tankers already. Okay, brakes off. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to reverse that back a little bit. Get this job handed in. Steel rails. Where's that going? E yard, okay. So we've now got an E drop followed by an E followed by a D. Yeah, I just want to reverse this back a little bit just so that we've got some kind of run up. I want the train to be about at least 20 k's before we hit that slope. Listen to that. I mean, the water in those cylinders and those pistons is definitely causing friction. That'll do us. Right, 3D6s. I don't know what the new weight is. I've not worked it out yet. But considering we dropped from 1,300 down to 900, I'd say we've shed about 400 tons almost. Okay, here we go. Try and get power on as much as possible without wheel spinning or over chucking too much power through that. Okay, that is now full power set, so that's it. That's all we've got. The only other thing we can do after that is go and turn on the DH4. That's it. What's the stats on this thing? 289 meters. And 912 tons. So I reckon if I take 290 meters away from that, that's more or less 300, so bring it down to 20 and then add 10 back on. That should be the new length of our train, and the weight is doing okay. I don't want to go more than 40 really, because the back of it's... Actually no, 50 will do. I'm conscious that the back of the train is still going through the switches back there. You can see it. There it comes. Okay, I think we're good. As long as we get up this slope, we'll be absolutely fine. Yeah, looking absolutely fine. No problem at all. Shedding that weight was definitely the right move. Okay, so now we can start thinking about drop-offs. E8I is going to be our first drop, followed by the D yard. So E, then D. Now that's not ideal, because the E yard, as we know, is here, and the D yard is there, which means... that's actually painful, isn't it? Because you sort of come in this way. Let me get these switches set. Left and then left. You come in this way, and you make your drop straight into E. Oops, gone too far. make the drop into E8I, right, left, right, left. You make your drop into I, and then you pull forward, and then you can't get into D because the cars are at the back, and you need to get them into D. So we may have to... I think the easiest thing to do will be... What's the weight of those cars? 462 tons. The easiest thing to do is going to be to spend some money and spawn the DH4 behind the back of the train, pull those cars out, shove them into D, and then stick the DH4 back in its place effectively, and then haul, just reverse back out and go straight up to City South. I think that'll be the best way, is just spend a bit of money and spawn the DH4 behind the train and pull it. Right, we're approaching the E yard in harbour. E8I. I think I've already set. I've just set D as well. Right. Left. Perfect. Yeah, I've set D up. We'll be going that one in a second down into D. But we need to get the back of the train into 8I. That looks correct. I think what I'll do is I'll go down the front end because we're going to have to pull through anyway. And then in order to be able to reverse the rest of this cargo back out of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the front here and disconnect from here, then pull the rest of the train forward, and then we'll pull the other consist back. Get outside. It's amazing how many times you end up back at the harbour when you play this game. It really is the hub of all jobs. I think what the map needs is a second hub. I think that would be kind of cool. Okay, if we can get it holed up somewhere here, that would be really ideal. We can also turn off one of those D6s. I don't need to be running 3 anymore. And we're going to pull the DH4 out the middle of that anyway. I might actually, since we're going to pull the DH4 out, I might actually shove the D6 up behind it. And then put the DH4 at the back. Might do it that way. Right, there's the steel cars that we're after. Gone misty again. Blimey. It's probably late afternoon now. It's kind of hard to tell. The sun's up there. Let's get this slowed down. Anywhere around here should do. Yep, lovely. Whack that on there. I really should go and hand in that job because the steel job's on a bit of a timer, but I kind of want to just get this into position before I do that. You can actually get the whole of this thing reversed down the centre. In fact, we could even hitch a ride on it. That would actually be a bit quicker, wouldn't it? There we go. Once that's past that one there. Lovely. Right, if we just jump on here. Thanks, game. Can we jump on there? Thank you. Now, what I want to do is reverse it, but not go beyond... where is it? I want to go beyond this switch here. Because I want to stop the back of the train here somewhere, so I can pull the rest of it and push it down into D. Whee! This is definitely better than sprinting. Also, what they need, this map needs to be way bigger, but it also needs to have like a super hub as well. Like something that's 3 times the size of this harbour. Maybe in the centre of the map or somewhere like that, and that could be like a proper warehouse setup. I think that'd be awesome. I think the industry needs to be on supply and demand as well. So that you can't just keep taking the same stuff. Like, you're kind of forced into having to deliver stuff to... A bit like Railroads Online. You got to take goods in order to get goods out. But not that level of industry, just industry that's a bit more supply and demand. Right, that is the fork for F yard, I think. Is that one? Yeah, that's that one. So I want that one. I think we'll just hole up here somewhere. We'll go and hand that job in. Oh, did we get the bonus? Oh yeah, easily. That's another 68 grand. What are the fees looking like right now? Alright, so 19 grand on that one. That's the Oil Well Central car that I slammed into. That was a $7,000 mistake right there. But that's fine. Right, now then, if we can... Let's see where these jobs split. Let's see, this is... We're looking for... Which one's this? This is 18. This is quite a lot of cars. This is 16. So I want the 18s off the back and leave the 16s where they are. There's 16. That's a 16. That's an 18. Okay. So I want to split these cars here. Take that. And I'm going to turn off that one. We don't need to have that one running anymore. We can probably turn off this one as well. And we'll just leave that one running there. We'll put the handbrake on it. Just leave it running for a second. And we're going to basically re-rail this DH4 back here, or rather spawn it back here, which will pull it out of that consist. But it's a lot easier to do this than faff around. So I'm going to say re-rail. Work train DH4. And I want it to be facing that way. That's 2,500. That's fine. Now that will have disconnected from the other train. I don't know what it's done with the pipes, but we'll find out in a minute. Right, need to brake cut this in. The main reservoir is full. Hopefully this is still, yep, synchronized to that. Come on, come on, a little bit more. Are you kidding me, game? There we go. That's pressurizing them. I didn't put the handbrake on. So we should be good to just pull them back now. Yeah, I reckon that was $2,500 well spent, to be honest. And then what we can do is we can shove it back in the middle of all that. Or we can just chuck it on the back. It doesn't really matter what we do, to be honest. It's raining again. Lovely. And that is those in 4i. Let's get the handbrake on. I can't remember if that was the one that we damaged or not. Well, I damaged. I don't think it was. It might have been the other set of cars. Let me just quickly reverse this out of here just because it's quicker than sprinting. I need to hand this job in, which is this one here. And then the last one's going up to City South. Coming around there a little bit hot. Okay, I'm just going to leave that here because I'm going to despawn it anyway. Well, respawn it. Let's get that one handed in. Lovely, 62 grand. And there's the thunder and lightning. It's almost like I'm heading towards the museum. Now, I'm wondering if... I've got this here. How about if I put the brake on this one temporarily? Disconnect that. And then if I quickly reverse this into this one... I haven't got the benefit of the remote, but it's fine. We'll just get that rolling. And hopefully there's just about enough momentum to link that there. Tighten that up. Okay. And then what we can do is we can pull this forward. And hopefully I've left enough room to respawn the DH4 behind that. That's 2.5 grand, and for some reason it decided to leave a big gap. That's really annoying. We can push everything together and get it all connected up. Of course, that's pushing through the DH4's handbrake. That should do it. Because it was spawned it with the handbrake on, I felt the resistance of it, but that's okay. And we pushed it through slightly, and that should push it onto the car behind. Is that connected? Yep. Let me take the handbrake off that. Then hopefully that will fit onto there. Lovely. I reckon that worked out okay. So that cost us 5,000 in fees just to bring that DH4 into a position where we want it. But I genuinely think that was worth it because that's a lot less hassle. And now we can use the remote again. Or can we? No, we can't use the remote again because what I've done... Alright, we'll fix it in a minute. Basically, there's no blue cable going through that is the problem. Although I could, in theory, use... I think we've got the wireless on here. So what we can actually tap into this now. So we can say, transmit, it's facing forward, channel 1. And despite there being no blue cable, we can receive the signal wirelessly instead. So receive, facing forward, channel 1. And now... hey presto. The whole thing moves. A bit of wheel slip. Okay, so we're looking to get up from the harbour now. We're going to take a left turn out City South. Just double check these are all correct. Good God, that's bright. Let's see, right turn, take us up there, City South. Oh my God, that is... the lighting. Now, I'm hopeful that one DE6 can get us up here. I think it can, because I don't think this job's... it's only 252, plus the 600 combined weight. Yeah, that's fine. 1,000 tons in the wet with all that. Yeah, that should be fine. The job is going into B1I, City South. Let's have a look at that. City South is here. And we're going to reverse it straight in. So we're going to go right, right, left into B, right, right into 1I. Perfect. Now let's see. I want to keep it at 40 around these bends. Let's just see if it starts to slip going up here. I don't think it will. I love the way you can stand here and glitch your remote control outside the window. You'd think it'd get wet. Right, let's keep the power up. Yeah, that SO60 is definitely offering friction, because when I was coming down towards the harbour, it's like a 0.5 to 1% gradient down. And normally you'd accelerate, but it actually just seemed to roughly keep speed down on a downhill gradient, which means that thing is offering some extra friction, which makes sense. Like with all that water sloshing around in the pistons and nothing greased up on the axles or any of the arms, like it's bound to offer a lot of friction. But the trouble is you don't know how much. You don't know what is that effectively slowing you down by. But I could definitely feel it when I went towards a steel mill. Let's get the power down. Come on. I shouldn't have to start the other D6. There should be enough power here. But again, with that extra friction, I just don't know. Yeah, there we go. We're okay. If we're speeding up, we're fine. To City South we go, and our final museum piece drop-off. Right, we are arriving. I need to slow this down. I'm going a bit too quickly. I've got so many locos here that... oops. I've got so many locos here that I need to start stopping a lot earlier. Is that actually within the yard? I think it is. There's the marker, yeah, it's fine. That will do. Get that disconnected. I'll just pull that forward a little bit. Right, let's go and hand this in. What's the duration on this one? I mean, this is just bonus money, this one. 54 minutes. Nah, I don't think we'll have a... Actually, we might be within time. It'll be close. There's a lot of time spent at the harbour doing that stuff, so I think it'll be near enough 50-odd minutes. Wow, 3 minutes over. Wowzers, that was close. It doesn't matter. The extra 21 grand will pay some of these fees over here. So I don't mind. It was just bonus cash because we're coming here. It didn't really take us a lot of extra time. Right, I think what I'll do is I'll reverse the whole lot onto this siding track here into the museum. And then we'll get the SO60 off the back there. That lighting's crazy. Can I get on this guy's roof? Can I get on your roof, mate? No? Oh yeah, I can. Thanks. Okay, that'll do. So we just need to now flip that one. You wouldn't think you'd get wheel slip when you've got the slug like that and hardly any weight, but you do. This is quite good. I feel like we've completed a piece of the jigsaw here. I know we've not restored it yet, but just finding it is literally half the battle. It gets harder as you go as well. Like, the first ones you find quite easily. You're just driving around and you see them. But as you go on, when you start getting down to the last two or the last one, finding it becomes way more tricky. And it's different for everybody. It's different for every playthrough. There's fixed spawn points, but there's quite a lot of them, so... Alright, let's get the old brakes on there. I think we'll get the handbrake on, and we'll turn this off. Now, the question is... Well, I suppose I could just... I'll just drive it with the GH4. I was going to say, can we just despawn? Can we just despawn this and respawn it over there? And the answer is probably, but it'll cost you money. So why don't we just stop being lazy? And I'll use this DH4 to do it, but what I'll also do is spin that around and we'll reverse it in and then we'll push it into its bay and that'll activate the job for it. Where's the bay for the 60? Is it there somewhere? There it is. So it's almost a 180 spin then. Yeah, as I said to you at the very... Well, not right at the very start of this series, but very early on in this series, I said to you, it's almost always the case that when I come to the museum, it is chucking it down with rain. And I've been right almost every time. It does it. It did it when I was streaming this game, and it's done it in this series as well. Almost every time I've been here, it's been binning it down with rain. You can drive this thing while you're turning it. Look at that. How crazy is that? That is utter madness. Oh, if I get this wrong, this is going to go bad. Like a glove. Never in doubt. Let's get that pushed in. This is the right bay. There we go. Go to the museum office and fund the missing parts for this vehicle. Alright, I think what we should do is get the old handbrake on that. Because it could be a little while until we get the parts for it. We've got to head back to our favourite place, the machine factory. Alright, I need to reposition this on the back of the train now, and it can be blue cable connected back in. It takes ages to learn this turntable. Oh. That's becoming a bit of a challenge now, that is. Get that wrong though, and it's going to be quite expensive on a museum piece, blimey. Right, let's get it slowed right down. Okay, red cable, blue cable, valves. I did tighten that up, didn't I? Yeah. And then we'll turn that off. And I'll brake cut that out because the D6, which is handbraked, etc. up there, is the master for that train. And we'll get over here. And we now have 15,000 in fees to pay to bring the missing parts. So we've got to get one of these things. We'll just take that with us. We only need one now. We've got to take that on the back of the train and go and recover the parts so that we can fix up our last vehicle. But that is more than enough for this episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed that one. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. If you are new here, consider subscribing. Take care, guys. Happy training.